and we're off. It is 5:30 p.m. According to my GPS, I am 90-ish miles and an hour and 43 minutes away from the Virginia Beach Fieldhouse, which is where U.S. Grappling Virginia Beach is being held, and consequently where the weigh-ins for U.S. Grappling Virginia Beach are being held tonight. So an hour and 45 minutes from now is roughly 7:15, which means that I will have about 45 minutes of leeway time to deal with traffic, get lost, get found again, weigh in, and then, if I have to run around and sweat off an extra however much weight. I don't think I'm going to have to do that, but I had a startling revelation, which is probably kind of obvious, that I should have thought about before. But it just occurred to me that my scale at home may not be accurate. I probably should have thought about checking into that before, but it just never even crossed my mind that it would be incorrect. According to that scale, I'm right around 214, 215. And if it turns out that that scale is wildly inaccurate, then I'm going to be wildly overweight. But I don't expect it to be off. I'm not, like a professional fighter or a bodybuilder or anything like that, where I'm just able to be like, oh, I know my body. I know my body in the way where. But I know how I feel when I'm usually around, 205, how I look and feel. I know what I look and feel like when I'm right around 215. I know what I look and feel like when I'm around 220 or 225. And I know that I feel a lot better, I feel closer to the 215 than I do to the 225. So maybe I'm just fooling myself and lying to myself when I'm actually 240, and that scale needs to be thrown in the trash. But that's, I'm expected to be on weight, and I'm looking forward to it. Something else that didn't occur to me is the fact that apparently there's a hurricane coming up the East Coast right now. I had no clue about, and it dawns on me that I am heading towards the beach right now. I'm not intelligent. I didn't realize that there was a hurricane coming until Markel sent us an email saying, hey, let's review the hurricane safety measures in case something hits while we're at the office. And I was like, oh, snap. I guess that means there must be a hurricane headed this way. A hurricane. And then it didn't dawn on me until I was on the road that I was like, hurricanes travel up the coast. I'm driving towards the coast. Maybe this wouldn't be wise. And then I thought, yeah, but it's jiu-jitsu, it'll be okay. Apparently in my mind, jiu-jitsu equals cone of safety that Mother Nature is afraid to, violate. Which makes perfect sense. So anyway, I'm on my way down there. Just hitting the 64-295 merge right now. For you Richmonders for whom that means anything. So yeah, 64-295 merge. It is 5:37 p.m. We'll see what happens. I'm feeling as though I'm feeling remarkably calm right now compared to my previous competitions. My very first competition, I was amazingly nervous because I had never done a competition before. I had no clue what I was really getting myself into. I didn't know if I was going to get smashed or if it was going to be easy or what the deal was. I didn't know what to expect, and that made me really nervous. The next two competitions, I was nervous because I knew what I was getting myself in for, and I felt like there was a lot of pressure. I think mostly pressure that I put on myself, because in my first competition, I did very well. I got 2 golds and a silver and 4th place in a 32-man white belt absolute division. So I was very, very proud of myself for that performance in my first outing, and I put a lot of pressure on myself for my next 2 competitions, thinking, well, I got to step up, I got to maintain, I got to be, if I did that amazingly well in these first 2, then clearly I have to keep doing better, and I have to get golds. If I don't get golds, then I'm regressing, and I'm not doing as well, and I'm doing poorly, and really psyched myself out a lot. For this competition, it feels like a foregone conclusion. Not that I'm going to win, but just that I'm going to compete and that I'm going to be happy. As I kind of built that training schedule for myself, 7 weeks, starting at 2, ramping up to that boot camp of 21 classes in 6 days, and then tapering off, and then competing tomorrow on the 27th. When I made that, I put a giant star on the 27th, and that was the goal, and that's what I was shooting for. But before long, the boot camp week became the big focus. That was a huge undertaking for me. That was, the most intense that I've focused on anything. The only thing that probably even comes close to that is flipping marching band camp back in high school. And that was, a couple of hours out on the blacktop in the morning, and a couple of hours in the band, in the band room in the afternoon, and maybe an hour of sectional, which, in terms of physical endurance and physical exhaustion, it doesn't even come close. But anyway, that was a big deal for me, that towards the end of that week, I was hurting, not physically, but just was just emotionally and mentally just really dragging, really drained, just really frustrating that I was kind of, I felt at the beginning of the week it was amazing. I was like, wow, I'm learning so much, and I'm getting so much good time in, and I'm rolling with these guys, and everyone's giving me great advice. Oh, he's got this great tip for my side control, and that's when Foz started working with me with the Gaval pass, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. I've got something I can, focus on trying to add to my game. I've got something I can drill. I've got something I can work. The Matt and Marvin, really helped me with the Uchimata for the, from the feet and stuff like that, and Trey gave me a no-gi version of the Uchimata I can try to work from my feet. And so it was just a really, the beginning of the week was super exciting for me. It just felt like, diving in the deep end, and I'm, and I'm outpacing Michael Phelps, just felt amazing. Especially Tuesday night when we had the testing for Muay Thai level 2. That was a really intense night. A lot of people testing for level 2, and then, myself and the 3 other guys and Marie, testing for level 3. That was another really intense moment. I remembered how rough testing for level 2 was. I knew level 3 was, of course, going to be even worse. And John, Jarrett, and Sean certainly didn't disappoint. And to get through that and to get my blue shirt on the same night that Alex was able to get his yellow shirt was just amazing. That was a huge high point for me. I was flying, man. I was so stoked. And then we hit Wednesday, which was, 3 different trips to the gym, a total of, 6-ish hours or so there in the gym. And after that, things started to turn into more of a grind. My body was just, tired. I was basically sleep, when I wasn't in the gym, I was asleep, except for maybe, a total of 4 hours throughout the day. Enough time to come home and shower and eat and then go to bed and get up and eat some lunch and do some stuff for about an hour and then take another nap and then get up and go to the gym and then come home and shower and eat and, check my email or whatever and then go to bed. And that was, my body was just fighting to kind of maintain at that point. And it got to the point where that Friday, just rolling sweeper pass with Russ, and it was really frustrating because, obviously he's got an amazing open guard and my passes are, clearly not where they could be. And I wasn't able to get around, wasn't able to pass, was getting swept. But in that moment, it just felt like the most frustrating and embarrassing day of jiu-jitsu in my life. Just felt like I felt really embarrassed and therefore was getting really frustrated. I just felt like, I've been training for, 2 or 2.5 years at this point, and I can't do anything right, and gosh, what's wrong with me, and this is, anyway, it was just really, really, really rough. But I was really proud of myself just for biting down and doing it, and finishing out that week, and that was a huge accomplishment for me. And to be honest, once I got through that and kind of, walked through the fire and came out the other side, I'm really not intimidated by tomorrow at all. I mean, it's going to be a long day, and I'm going to have some rough matches, and maybe I'm not going to win any medals. I mean, I'm certainly shooting for gold in every single tournament, or in every single division. But even if I go out there and I just get, I don't medal in any division, I mean, as long as I'm not making dumb mistakes and kind of beating myself, as long as I'm doing as well as I know I can, and know, as well as I'm capable of performing, I'm really going to find it hard to be disappointed in tomorrow. This is the most relaxed I've felt heading into a tournament, and I'm excited about that. I'm happy that I'm not putting a lot of pressure on myself, and getting stressed and getting nervous and getting worked up and getting just wasting energy that I don't need to be wasting. So that's kind of where I'm at emotionally at this point. But to be honest, I'm just looking forward to tomorrow. Kind of being able to, I've worked hard for 7 weeks, and now I get to have fun. The work's done. I get to go in there and I get to play. I get to go in there and I get to to relax. I've done the drilling, I've done the sparring, I've done the work. Now I just get to go and roll. Maybe 12 matches tomorrow, maybe. I mean, I'm guessing in my weight class there'll probably be 3 or 4 people, so that'll be 2 matches. And then in absolute, that'll probably be, another 5 matches or something like that. So I'm guessing around at least 10 matches tomorrow, and it should be fun. Biggest thing is I just don't want to embarrass the school. That's the biggest thing that has me nervous. I mean, I'm okay with Ben Westcott being terrible, but I don't want people to look at Ben Westcott and go, "Wow, he trains at Revolution." Those guys were tough, but apparently not. That's my biggest motivation, is have fun and don't let the gym down. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll definitely be keeping everybody updated. I'm going to try to get as many people to videotape my matches as I can, so that I can have something to review later on, and, watch and critique and get advice from Andrew and Trey and Russ and Daniel and Dan and Keith and just everybody, Foz and Dax and Vince and just anyone who wants to watch it and tell me what I did dumb and tell me how to fix it. I want to hear what they had to say. But anyway, I'll be trying to get videos, and I will kind of be posting on Facebook throughout the day, just kind of saying, hey, this happened, hey, that happened, hey, I'm doing this now, so that those of you who aren't able to make it down will at least be able to kind of keep track of me and keep me in line. So prayers would be appreciated. Support would also be appreciated. I'll see y'all around the intrawebs.